afternoon, everyone. I want to welcome you all to the Passion Chair. I'm so excited for today's guest. I have joining me Jessie Jack. She is the captain of the Olds College Broncos women's hockey team. And she is just an outstanding young woman, amazing leader. And she is just such a role model for girls like her peers and also younger girls in the community of Olds. But I also think just in her own home community of Stettler, Alberta as well. So please help me welcome Jessie Jack. How are you, Jessie?
I'm awesome. I want to say thank you for having me on here. I'm super excited. You're an amazing woman yourself. I have the privilege of playing with your awesome daughter. So, yeah, I'm just really excited to be here.
Well, I'm so grateful that you were able to take the time today. I know you're very busy. Um, I also wanted to congratulate you, Jessie, because, I've been watching you the last couple of years. As you mentioned, you've been playing hockey with my daughter. And I see not only what you do as a leader on your team, but I see, all the things that you do around the rink in the community and just how other kids just respond to you. And then the other day, I was just so excited when I seen that you have been added to quite an amazing list of other young women who have been added to the academic all Canadian list. Now, Jessie, talk a little bit about um, you know what that actually means. Like, I understand that it's you've maintained an excellence in your academics, but also you've shown that you are an elite hockey player as well. Like, talk a little bit about what that takes to be added to a list like that.
I would say the first thing is like loving what you're doing. I absolutely love it here. I love playing hockey with the girls. And because of that, I enjoy going to school. It's an awesome environment. So you have to kind of love it or else it feels like work. But the next thing I would say is self-discipline. I've had to teach myself how to be self-disciplined and have time management skills for sure. Not something I had when I first came to college. So developing those has really helped me. And just sticking to it. Like, there's going to be days when you don't feel like, getting up for practice or going to class, and just acknowledging that that's okay, but I still have to put in that work. I can't just take those days off. So I would say it's kind of a combination of all those things. Obviously, that was an incredible honor. I had no idea that that was happening. It was a complete surprise. So that's the other piece of it. Is it is hard work, but it does pay off. And so it was nice to be recognized for sure. But I think that it's just another reinforcement to, keep working hard, keep like being dedicated to all those things.
Well, and that's incredible. And honestly, like, the Passion Chair really, the vision for the Passion Chair was really, I wanted to feature people who, especially women who are passionate about what they do and are very inspiring, and they're in making an impact in whatever it is that they're doing, and they're also an outstanding influence. And I mean, Jessie, that is you. And I just think it's so incredible to just see what you're doing, and how much of a difference you're making in the community of Olds. So, Jessie, take us back a little bit. Like, tell us how old were you when you started hockey, and when did you really become passionate about the sport?
I think I started playing when I was 4 or 5. I don't exactly remember, but I was really young. Started playing with the boys, like we all did. And I loved skating. I don't know if I loved the game of hockey right from the get-go, but I loved skating. I loved being around my friends. I was super social. I still am a super social person, so being around people was awesome. But I think I watched the opening ceremonies and paid really close attention to the 2010 Olympics, and I was 10 years old then. And that was when I realized, like, oh my goodness, like, women play hockey at the highest level. And that was kind of the first time I had, like, seen it and realized that that was real. And I would say that that's kind of where I fell in love with it and realized like there's a future for me to play hockey, even when I'm older. I don't just have to play with the boys and then, you know, be done after high school. There's more to it. And so I think that's when I really like found my love for the sport. And then as I grew older and, got to work at it and grow, and found a little bit of success as a teenager, that just kind of fed that passion a little bit more. So I would say that's kind of where it all started.
And so you probably didn't start your minor hockey in Stettler, but you were living in Stettler. And I know in a smaller community like Stettler, there isn't that next level competitive hockey. So I understand you had to travel to Red Deer to play at an elite level. What was that like with balancing high school and also playing at an elite level?
That was challenging for sure. That was at a time when I didn't have a ton of my or time management skills, so I was kind of figuring that out. I remember like when I first started playing in Red Deer, I would leave the house sometimes at 6 a.m. Um, like I lived an hour out of town as well at that time, so I'd get to the high school and usually like we'd have morning workouts for rugby or something, or I'd go to the gym. Then I'd go to school all day and then I would try and do homework. Sometimes that didn't happen, right after school, hang out for a bit and then be headed to hockey practice in Red Deer and then get back home at 12 o'clock at night just to do it all again the next day. So it was definitely a challenge. At the time, I didn't realize it because I was in it and it was fun. I'm at high school with all my friends. I've made new friends in Red Deer playing hockey. It was exciting. But when I look back now, like for a 16, 17-year-old, it was a lot. Like, and I was brand new with a license driving, more than probably most 16, 17-year-olds were every day. Um, but I'm really grateful that my parents, they never took any opportunity away from me. They always, pushed me if I wanted to play at that next level. They gave me those opportunities. They made it happen, even if it meant I was on the road till 12 o'clock at night or, they were driving me. They just always kept those doors open. And so for that, I'm really, really grateful.
I've had the pleasure of getting to know your parents a little bit, and they're so very supportive. And you have been able to play on the same hockey team with your younger sister as well. Tell us a little bit about what that's been like.
That's super special. Like it's a once in a lifetime opportunity to be able to play any sport. I think with your sibling, let alone at the collegiate level. So, having Sid here the last 3 years has made this experience just super unique and super special. And obviously, there have been times where siblings that it maybe has been a little bit rocky, but like this past year in that final game when we realized this is the last time that we'd kind of be on the ice together, at least as far as we know, it was a sad moment for sure because it's been so special. And watching her grow and become the hockey player and the person that she has over these past 3 years, like her personality has changed so much. She's totally come to life. She's, developed so many leadership skills. I've watched her, come out of her shell and become this, amazing person. And so that's been super cool as an older sister too, to be a part of that, I guess.
Well, and I think it's really amazing because I know that Sid would say that you have been a great mentor for her, and she's learned a lot from you. And I'm sure she's going to be really stepping into a new position as a leader next year with you moving on. So tell us what is next for you. Where are you going next year?
Super excited. I'm getting the chance to play at the youth sport level with McEwen University. It's been kind of a dream of mine ever since I was a little girl to play at the highest level. I didn't even know if I was going to play college coming out of high school. I had suffered a really terrible injury that had kind of made me take a couple steps back in sport. Um, so to get the opportunity to play here was huge, and now to have the opportunity to play at the highest level, see what the youth sport league is like, I'm really, really excited. I think it's going to be a great challenge and a lot of fun. It's sad to leave Olds for sure. I have so many wonderful memories here. This is an amazing community, an amazing institution filled with so many great people, but I'm ready to take that next step and see what happens.
And that's so exciting. And we're all going to be cheering you on. And, I know that, for women especially, there isn't as much opportunity in the smaller communities to take it to the next level like there is for males. So being able to play a youth sport, like you said, the highest level, I mean, that's pretty incredible. And so who would you say has been your biggest role model when it comes to hockey? Like a woman, or maybe even like you mentioned when we talked earlier, maybe an NHL player that you really just modeled, yourself after, that you wanted to really be like.
Um, in hockey, I would say that any sort of female player that played at an elite level, I looked up to and I watched and I wanted to be like them. So Haley Wickenheiser obviously is a big one for all. I attended WickFest when I was younger, and so I got to meet her. And watching any sort of Olympian at that level, they were who I wanted to be growing up. But I would say, like, as a role model and somebody who has always been in my corner and pushed me when I needed it, would definitely be two people, my parents, both of them. They've, like you said, they're huge supporters of both Sid and I and Emma in anything that we do. And they've just, when I've gotten off track or when I felt like maybe it wasn't worth it or the times when it was really hard, they were always there and they knew exactly what to say or how to help or, were just there for me. And I always knew that I had two really awesome people standing behind me at all times. And so I would say it's probably them, even though they're maybe not hockey players.
Well, and I think that's incredible, because that was actually going to be my next question is, to succeed at the level that you have in all areas, academically and athletically, um, it takes a really strong work ethic. And, getting to know your parents a little bit, they've they have many businesses, and as a business owner, I understand what it takes. And I mean, they have multiple businesses that they have done so well at. And so I would imagine you attribute a lot of your work ethic to what you've learned from your parents because of what they've instilled in you. Tell us
Oh,
a little bit about that.
100%. Yeah. We grew up on a farm, me and my sisters, so there's obviously lots of work that comes with that. And yeah, both my parents have worked really, really hard for everything that they have. And so we watched that all growing up. They made it their mission to instill, work ethic into each one of us. And they did that, even if it meant we were going to do chores in -30 when we didn't want to. At the time when I was a kid, oh, I hated it. All my friends were just doing whatever they wanted sometimes, and we were out there doing chores, milking cows. But when I look back now, it was probably the greatest gift that they ever could have given me, because it's been a difference maker in my hockey career, in my academics, in anything that I do. Being able to, tap into that work ethic when I need it or all the time has really, really helped me now that I'm out on my own and, pursuing my own dreams and goals.
Absolutely. So Jesse, tell us a little bit about the what you'll be graduating with this year from Olds College.
So right now, I'm actually working on my Bachelor of Science in Agribusiness degree. I'm also taking online classes at McEwen to kind of start my psychology. So I won't be quite finished my agribusiness, but I will eventually, hopefully, finish it. And then when I go to McEwen, graduate with my psychology degree.
That's amazing. To go to college for 4 years and to go through the challenges of COVID and online learning, that just added a little bit of an extra twist to having to be even more disciplined. Would you say that that was probably one of the greatest challenges in the past few years?
Yeah, um, I think we were really lucky here. Um, I will say I was super grateful to be in Olds though, because I could still be around my teammates. I had that support system. I had that network of people that were going through the same thing. So that definitely made it a little bit easier. But it was hard for sure. Like your whole identity as a hockey player, as a student athlete, all of a sudden was gone. And so it was a time when I really had to look at like who am I when I'm not playing hockey, because there is more to, our personalities and who we are outside of our sport. But I hadn't really taken the time to think about that in a long time, or have to think about it because I was always busy being a student athlete. And so that was one of the biggest challenges. Is it was a little bit scary at first to think, oh, like what do I do when I'm not, playing my sport? But again, a really great lesson, and something that gives me comfort that when this journey as an athlete comes to an end, I'm going to be okay, because there's more to me than just, Jessie the hockey player.
Absolutely. And do you feel like that created a stronger bond between you and your teammates?
Oh, for sure. One thing we always talk about on our team is like going through adversity together just makes us stronger. At the time, it might not seem like it, but afterwards, you realize that we're all kind of struggling in the same way. So, for sure, that whole experience definitely brought us together. Definitely was something that forced us to be a little bit more vulnerable with each other because we were struggling. And so, yeah, brought us really close. And my best friends, come from that group that went through that COVID year together.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And, I was, as a mom, I was so grateful for you and for when Jerica went to college, and it was starting out for her, that you were such an amazing leader and role model for everyone on the team. And so I know firsthand, like I mentioned earlier, I've observed just how amazing of a leader that you are, and I've just heard so many wonderful things as well. And so Jesse, on that note, you not only are a leader and mentor on your own team, but you, for the past 2 years, have been coaching and volunteering your time with the U15 AA Elite Female Olds Grizzlies team. Talk a little bit about what that experience has been like for you.
That's been a whole different ball game than playing. I realize you take for granted what you know about the sport for sure, and you kind of forget little things. And then when you're coaching, you realize like, oh wow, like yeah, this applies here, or I forgot about that. And I don't think at first I realized the impact or the influence that you can have, especially on younger athletes. Like, I didn't think that it would mean anything to them. I just wanted to help out. I wanted to learn how to coach. And as I got to know these, amazing young girls, they look up to us. They look up to all of us, anybody that plays at the higher level. Um, and so it was really cool to be able to have that impact on younger players and to kind of help build them up and build their confidence, because I think back to when I was younger and I was, always looking at NHL players or male hockey players, and if there was a female, hockey player that I knew, I was kind of obsessed with what they were doing. And I wish I would have had more of those female role models. And so that's kind of why I got involved in it, because I wanted to, be that for them, be the role model that maybe, the girls my age didn't have when they were that young.
Well, and I think that you're making you're maybe an even bigger impact than you even realize on these girls, because I I've overheard, just being around the rink, parents of some of these younger girls just thanking you, and just showing so much gratitude to you for the impact that you're making and how these girls do look up to you. And there was some things like you just how grateful they are just for how much you've volunteered your time, the how you've been a role model for them, just how you've held them accountable, but you're so positive and so encouraging for them. And just the difference that you really are making. And like you said, that all of you have as a whole team on these young athletes that, like you said, when you were a young girl playing minor hockey, there wasn't the female game hadn't come as far as it has now. And so now you really have the ability to make a greater impact on their lives. And so Jesse, I want to thank you so much for your time today, but I'd love for you to just leave anyone who's watching, because I think there will be a lot of these younger girls and even some of your teammates and, everyone else that's watching, just what you would love to impart on anyone who, maybe doubts themselves or their ability to get to this level and to accomplish what you have. What would you want to share with them?
I would say just don't quit. There's going to be times when it's really hard. There's going to be times when you feel like maybe it's not worth it, or it's not worth the time, the effort, the work. But it is. Like in the end, it really is. And you'll look back on those hard times and realize that you were learning something. You might not have realized it at the time, but afterwards you will. And all of those lessons are so, so, so valuable. So just don't give up on yourself. Don't quit. It's already harder for us as female athletes. There's not as many opportunities. But kick those doors open, keep pushing, and just don't give up on yourself, because in the end, it's so worth it.
That's so amazing. And I just am so grateful that you came on here to share just the wisdom that you've gained, and just, how, it's really truly evident how passionate you are, and how, why so many people are inspired by your example, Jesse. So thank you so much for joining me today, and for everything that you do, and just the difference that you're making, because it's truly incredible. And I want to wish you the best of luck in all of your future endeavors as you go forward to MacEwan University and play U Sport and continue following your passion and your dreams.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It was an absolute pleasure.
Thank you all so much for joining us. And you can also follow us over on YouTube, and you can see this entire interview over on YouTube as well. So thank you, Jesse, and thank you so much for everyone tuning in. And we'll be back again very soon with more amazing, inspiring, and passionate guests. Thank you.